This is Mal Gates, and you're watching Sporting Icons.
Okay, so it's that time of the month where the IBF released their new rankings up and down the weight divisions. Of course, on this one, we're going to talk about the heavyweight division. So I'm going to go through the top 15, and there are some big changes in this month's IBF rankings. Of course, I'm going to address them as this video goes along. And if you are new here, make sure you are subscribed. This is the only place who goes through all the rankings each and every month. Subscribe, it's free. Okay, so Oleksandr Usyk is the IBF champion. Of course, he's the unified champion, meaning he also holds the WBA and the WBO also. The number one position is currently vacant. That's down to the mandatory situation, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Number two is King Kong, Luis Ortiz. Number three, Filip Hrgovic. Number four, Anthony Joshua. Number five, Joyce. Number six, Joseph Parker. Number seven, Martin Bakole. Number 8, Aja Cabiel. Number 9, Frank Sanchez. Number 10, Tony Oka. Number 11, Dillian Whyte. Number 12, Otto Wallin. Number 13, Dempsey McKean. Number 14, Charles Martin. And number 15, Zili Zhang. So that is the top 15 for the month of July for the IBF. Now, dropped out of this month are three people: Andy Ruiz Jr., Cash Ali, and Hughie Fury. So three people have been dropped out of the top 15 for this month. Now, Cash Ali, he was a fresh insert last month where he was in the number 11 position. Now, he's the IBF European heavyweight champion. Why did they drop him? Absolutely no idea. Is it down to a IBF sanction fee? Possibly. Maybe because he's got that IBF European belt, hasn't yet defended it. He's had, was it 2 6-rounders or something? And apparently he's been offered certain fights and somebody somewhere's turned him down, whether it's Cash, whether it's his team, who knows. Maybe the IBF said, right, you're not going to be defending that belt. See you later. Maybe. I don't know. Andy Ruiz Jr., he was number 8 last month, but now he's not in the top 15. Why? Maybe because he hasn't had a fight. Now, of course, we know he's got a fight coming up in September against Luis Ortiz. But what route are they going down with that particular fight? Are they going to go down the WBA, WBC, or a WBO route? I'm presuming that whatever kind of belt's going to be on the line, if, of course, there's going to be any form of trinket belt on the line, probably not going to be the IBF. Maybe Andy Ruiz Jr. didn't pay the sanction fee for this month, knowing that. Who knows? And Hughie Fury. Hughie Fury was number 14 last month, and now he's out of the top 15. Again, I'm presuming that part could be down to, in two parts. Number one, inactivity. Of course, he hasn't had a fight since the Christian Hammer fight, but even though it wasn't that long ago, really, but that's just one possibility. Other possibility is, hasn't paid sanction fee, as some fighters don't. And it could also be that his fight with Michael Hunter, that's going to be rescheduled, but that's going to be for a WBA final eliminator for the WBA regular title, which Daniel Dubois holds. So obviously he's going to go down the WBA route. No point paying sanction fees for the IBF. Could be something along those lines. Now, as far as changes are concerned, we can start off with the highest place change. Number 6, fresh insert, Joseph Parker. Now, Joseph Parker, he hasn't been in the IBF rankings for a little while now, and he just appeared in there. Now, usually when fighters just appear, they'll appear somewhere between 15 and 10. So it's quite unusual for someone to be ranked so high out of nowhere. And that could only make me presume that either A, Ben Shalom, Boxer, Sky Sports have a good relationship with the IBF, and they've got in that high ranking. Could be that. That win over Derek Chisora looks obviously much better now, because obviously Joseph Parker, he pretty much dominated Derek Chisora in their rematch, and Derek Chisora, of course, has just come back and got a win over Kubrat Pulev. Kubrat Pulev, of course, was a former IBF mandatory. So maybe they've looked at that and said, well, actually, Joseph Parker is obviously deserves a high ranking because of his last victory. Maybe. So that's number 6, Joseph Parker. As of right now, still no opponent for his next fight. We'll have to wait and find out about that one. Other fish insert is number 11, Dillian Whyte, the former WBC interim world heavyweight champion. Of course, last time out, he did fight finally for a world title. Came up short against Tyson Fury in a very, very boring fight. It was a terrible fight. Other than the stoppage, not too much happened in there. But still, Dillian Whyte, for the first time in quite some years, Dillian Whyte is now ranked in another sanctioning body outside of the WBC. Beforehand, because he was WBC interim champion, he was deemed as a full champion. That's why he was never ranked by the IBF, the WBA, or the the WBO, so, because they recognise him as a world champion. But officially, of course, he's WBC interim champion. But now he doesn't have that status anymore. Now he's free to be ranked by other sanctioning bodies, and of course now he's paying the sanction fee, so maybe that's why he's straight in at number 11. But of course his record is very, very good, so listen, that's obviously going to be helping, no doubt as well. But also this might be an indication as to where Dillian Whyte is going to go next. Now, why the IBF? Well, it could be obviously because there's a matchroom fight coming up between number 3, Filip Hrgovic, and number 15, Zhilei Zhang. That would be for the IBF mandatory. Maybe Dillian Whyte could end up fighting the winner of that one. Maybe that's why he found himself ranked in the top 15 of the IBF. It's a possibility. It could be. Speaking of which, we'll go back round again to the number 1 vacant position, as I was speaking about just there. That is for the mandatory. So number 3, Filip Hrgovic versus number 15, Zhilei Zhang. Seems pretty odd that a number 15 should fight in a final eliminator to become the IBF mandatory. But of course, when they agreed that fight, Zhilei Zhang was obviously ranked a little bit higher than what he is right now. But quite clearly, a lot of the fighters above him all turned the fight down. So what can you do? That is the situation. Now, of course, number 14, Charles Martin. Charles Martin is, of course, another fresh insert. Why? No idea. He hasn't had a fight since the Luis Ortiz loss, as far as I'm aware. So why does he find himself ranked in the top 15 of the IBF? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Unless, of course, there's a fight coming up and they want to get some kind of IBF title on the line. And now, mysteriously, they've ranked him. Now, Frank Sanchez, number 9, he's been boosted by 4 positions. Why? Again, I don't know. He hasn't had a fight for quite some time since he fought. Was it Christian Hammer? He fought last time. Previously, it was FA Jack, but of course that was a very good win. But against Christian Hammer, is that a good win? No, of course it's not a good win. So why has he been bumped up by 4 positions? Not sure. Unless, of course, he's got a fight coming up that I'm unaware of. Number 7, Martin Bakole has been dropped by 2 positions. Why has he been dropped by 2 positions? I mean, last time was about 2 months ago. Of course, he dominated and dispatched and won on points by a very, very wide margin for most people against Tony Yoka, although the scorecards will have it a little bit closer for whatever reason that may be. Home cooking, who knows? But Martin Bakole dropped down by 2 positions. Now, it does seem that he's going the WBC route, so maybe that might explain why, but I don't really know anything outside of why he's been dropped 2 positions other than a fresh insert of Joseph Parker. And of course, Joe Joyce has been boosted by 1 position. So Joe Joyce finds himself in at number 5. Of course, he just had a win over Christian Hammer. Is what it is. But apparently Joe Joyce will be out. I think he said the 24th of September. That'll be his next fight. And it should be against a highly ranked opponent. But we all know he's going the WBO route. So is it a waste of a ranking in the IBF? Some may argue that. Now, other than that, not too much changes. A few drops down by a couple of positions. A couple have moved up by a couple of positions. I'm surprised to see Tony Yoka still in there, though. He's number 10. Now, he got a one-sided beatdown by Martin Bakole. So quite why he's number 10, I don't know. I mean, should he really be above any of those below him? I mean, it's arguable. I mean, would he beat Dillian Whyte, Otto Wallin, Dempsey McKean, Charles Martin, Zhilei Zhang? I don't know. But I'd quite like to see him fight any of those, to be honest. I really would. But anyway, that is the new rankings for the month of July for the IBF. So some pretty big changes. Big changes. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next video.